people start coming in?
Hi everyone, welcome to GIS Can Look Like You, Careers in GIS. My name is Tyler Norwood and I'm a part of the Global Business Development Team. And I am joined here with my wonderful co-moderator, Jennifer Blanks. Jennifer, if you want to say a few words about yourself, that'd be awesome.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Blanks. I'm currently an intern at Esri for the summer, and I'm a PhD student at Texas A&M University studying urban and regional science.
Awesome, awesome. So this event right here is to get adequate information about the broad and many ranges of GIS careers that you might not know about, and by leaders in the field, especially leaders of color. So without any further ado, we have a video for you all, and please enjoy. Well, while we're waiting on that video, I think it might be a great time to introduce our panelists. We have a great range of individuals that are ready to answer a lot of great questions and kind of share their journey with us all. Gregory, if you want to start off with introducing yourself, I think that would be wonderful.
Sure, yes. My name is Gregory Gabriel. I'm located in Palm Beach County, and that's in Florida. And I'm a planner here, work on the program development where facilitate for long-range plan and short-range plan. We do a lot of work with the community. Basically, we are in charge to basically make the county better, more multimodal.
Awesome, awesome, that's great. And it looks like our video is getting ready to show up, so we'll just continue on with the introductions after it airs. So without any further ado, here's our video. And our video might be missing some audio. Hey, Christine, would you mind give us an introduction of yourself?
Yes, hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Bacta. I am an educator, actually, and I have a PhD in urban design. So I have taught architecture for very many years. I was born in Cameroon in Africa. So I studied in France and in Germany. And I have, for the last 20 years, been in America, where I have actually been a professor at the SCAD, where I taught architecture and urban design. And just last year, I finished my PhD in geospatial and urban design, as it actually applied to human and living and public safety. So I have just last month or 2 months ago created my company, GeoEdu Gaming. And this really came from this idea of realizing of, teaching at the university level, realizing that when I brought data into the classroom, realizing that we were missing so much, in bringing GIS into any type of education system. So that's where GeoEdu Gaming actually came from. And that's what I've been working on. But a couple of years ago also, I co-create GeoGen, which is a data generator. And I have really just been in GIS for the last 6 years. but my path started really totally off in architecture and urban designer. So I think
That's awesome. That's great. And Nami, would you mind introducing yourself and sharing a little bit of like what you do as well?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Nanmi Pupola. I have been in GIS for about 15 years, covering GIS projects and solutions in various capacities in government, education, utility, and the oil and gas industry. I am currently a supply chain planning analyst with ExxonMobil. And basically, GIS has been my passion, and I'm really passionate about understanding and translating business needs to practical solutions using GIS. I spend my free time with family and love to volunteer for STEM programs, anything to educate the young ones coming up.
That's
That's it
awesome.
about me.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much. And Jeremiah, do you mind introducing yourself for us as well? Okay, well, while Jeremiah is getting back on with us, Valerie, would you like to give us your introduction?
Hi, morning everyone. I'm Valerie Grant and I'm the
Valerie, we can't hear you. You're not muted. It might be your headphones.
Are you hearing me now?
Very faint.
Okay. Difficulties this morning. Any better?
It's a little bit better, yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Valerie Grant and I'm the Managing Director for Geotech Vision, and I have been in GIS for the last 20 years. 12 of the last years, I founded a company which has been a premier geospatial company across the Caribbean. And I like working with youth specifically and just mentoring other entrepreneurs.
Great. Thank you so much. And Jen Johnson, I'd love to get a little more information about yourself. I can't hear you either. Great.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jen Johnson. I have a background largely in design, including landscape architecture and geodesign. I ended up going into grad school to do sustainable design and building architecture and geodesign, and that's when I realized GIS extended way far beyond what I initially thought, and kind of fell into doing a lot of 3D work. And I was a lead GIS analyst for the city of Philadelphia, and I'm now and I was a geodesign specialist here in Nashville, and I am now a senior GIS analyst with HDR INC. We work largely on architectural and engineering projects. I'm also doing a lot of work with utilities and sewer lines as well. And so just seeing the impact of the habitat, environmental, and neighborhoods has been really rewarding for me in my career. So.
That's awesome. That's really great. That's really great. And looks like we have Danielle, Miss Danielle Still. If you wouldn't mind giving us an introduction about yourself, it would be highly appreciated.
Hi, I'm Danielle Steele. I started out in summer youth for the Marion Barry Summer Youth Program, and some of the projects I've worked on is with the Office of the Chief Technology Officer and New Light Technologies as a database GIS analyst. Some of the things I work on ArcGIS Pro, desktop, and some things in Oracle as well with coding.
Awesome. Girls Who Code. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So looks like we have our video back up and running. So we're going to transition into that. And without any further ado, let's enjoy. And it sounds like we still might be missing some audio, but we have a poll for everyone to kind of participate in and interact with right now. So let's continue on with our first poll that we have for today. And I'm launching it right now. So what is your gender identity? And also, yeah. Great, so we'll just give you guys a couple more seconds to answer that for us. Great, thank you guys so much for doing that for us. I really appreciate that. So let's see how that video is coming along. Great, so we're just gonna get straight into the questions and the polls. So let's get into our first question, everyone. So the first question I have for you guys is, for those with family obligations, how do you manage your time as an employee or entrepreneur? And what are some of your favorite time management tips that can help keep us organized? Anyone feel free to answer the question.
Okay, so I'll jump in. Usually I do have a son and I am married. So one of the tips I use, I try to get up early in the morning so I could have this time for myself, whether to get a head start on planning for my day. And also it's good to use calendar. I usually overbook myself. So it's for you to get on my time, it made me think first to know, is this worth the time? Because if you don't book yourself, somebody else will just book you. But it's really get that some journaling going, some note taking, to not really overthink, and you kind of plan your day out. And also waking up early for me works well. It gives me that heads up.
Awesome.
And yes, I could also answer that question. As a mother, I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I think that I really struggled managing that time, family and work, when I was working for an employer. At the moment when I started my own business, which I thought was going to be harder, it really became, my priority became my family. And I realized that talking to children, I never realized I was never talked to by my parents. So talking to children about what you're doing and the time that you need, and then you really maximize the time with them. I have been doing a lot. I woke up early as well. I've been waking up for, at 5 every day for the last 20 some years. I do my exercise in the morning, and by that time they're still sleeping. So by the time they get up, everything is straight up for everybody. But I realized that children understand. They understand even more. Like today, they came and told me, "Good luck, mommy." So they know I have a time, because when we have a family time, it's really focused. So it's really about organizing and making sure that they understand what we're doing, because they could help.
Awesome. Awesome.
I would like to share that I usually like to prepare my day on the day before. And also, like Gregory mentioned, calendars are very essential in preparing for work the next day. I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old, so it gets a little hectic. So you can imagine that we need to have that plan, to have the calendars to just, we just need to have the calendars just to schedule what we're going to do during our day. And that really helps a lot.
That's awesome, Danielle. That's really great. I mean, being excellence gauges are all parents and still trying to, you know, become your best selves and further your career and to plan your days accordingly. That's really great. So for those of you who are currently in GIS careers, what advice? I'm so sorry. For those you're currently in GIS careers, what advice would you give to early career professionals?
I can jump in on that. I think this is Jeremiah Raya with New Life Technologies. I think while you're early stage, it's important to not just have GIS, but a subject matter expertise in a specific area, whether it's geography, geoscience of some sort, or mathematics, computer science, so that you're doing GIS as a augmentation and a furthering of your career in the GIS with that, versus simply just doing GIS itself. It's not GIS is not the end, it's a means to getting answers and analysis. So I would say with biology, any kind of epidemiology, which is very important now, is important to continue to grow that career as well.
Awesome.
And just to add, definitely would agree that you need to niche an area so that you can make some meaningful contributions to that area. I think one advice that I would give to young professionals as well is that they should have a voluntary spirit. So develop that spirit of volunteerism, just go after opportunities, volunteer here and there. You will be shocked at how much you learn and the opportunities that will really turn up if you do that. So that will really open yourself up to really exploring lots of possibilities when you volunteer.
Great, awesome.
And also
Go
ahead.
So like from your experience, like what roles does GIS play in your job, specifically for those of you that are urban planners or whatever you guys do?
So I'll answer to this. So GIS is very valuable in my field in transportation, mostly because we have to create plans for 25 years and our short-term plan for 5 years. And without GIS, it's really challenging to communicate where our projects are, what's the impact of the projects, even though after we run complex analysis for travel time and also look at travel patterns. So it's really make it easy to give the public application where they can see the projects. Also, GIS also allowed us to communicate for vulnerable communities, allow them to see the projects that we are doing and better plan for the county. And we have a major multimodal initiative here that's part of our vision here in Palm Beach County, and really providing sidewalk, reduce pedestrian, reduce fatalities. So we are able to do that with our Vision Zero plan, and we communicate that to GIS so people can actually see it in the community.
That's so awesome, great. Valerie, do you mind taking this question?
Well, I believe that, you know, with GIS, the reality is that there are so many aspects of it. I always tell persons that, you know, there's never a dull moment in terms of our careers in GIS. I get to work on environmental projects. I get to work on health related projects. I get to work on business related projects on the location intelligence side. I get to work with utility companies. There's so many things that you get to work on. And so from that perspective, because it is so cross-cutting, there are definitely areas that you can see location information persisting through. So GIS is such a broad area. And so the earlier question, we say niche area because you will get, you can get flustered. And the reality is that when you combine it with something that you really love, then you see the most out of it. And I get to work with entrepreneurs who can see how GIS can help them to really choose location for their business or understand information that pertains to their business and even understand customer information. So it's a visual language and it's something that's very exciting. And I think when persons delve into it, then they start realizing it. I remember teaching a class on metadata and the person started to say to me that they thought metadata was like, you know, a 5 minutes topic, but they didn't imagine that you could spend 3 days talking about metadata. So GIS is so deep. And so when you really delve into it, the richness of it, there's so much that can come from it. So I think persons just need to understand where they want to go with it, find something that's they're passionate about and see the application of it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for the answer.
I would like to add to that, and if I may, you know, I think that the way I see GIS is really like the X-ray in life, you know. I believe that GIS, you know, as a designer or as a planner, we basically have ideas and we have, you know, a project to do. What GIS does, it's really not only allow us to do it better using informed decision, but it also allows us to actually understand the invisible that affect that project. It is the lenses, you know, of any project. It is basically, I call it the extension of human brain. It is not a software because it allows you to question things. You know, when Gregory was talking about when we plan and making sure that we actually looking at the vulnerable community, how do we understand why they are vulnerable? Is it because of the education? Is it the health? Is it just because they are in the wrong location? So there are so many different things. There are so many layers. You know, I think of a project that I did here in Savannah, where I was looking at the accident on one area. Of course, you know, if you come to Savannah, people are going to tell you people drive badly in Savannah. When I start GIS, I start thinking, how could Savannah has mostly tourists, right? So how could someone be driving well in New York City and drive bad in Savannah? It made no sense. And when you start laying the data, laying the GIS data, I went on and laid the data and tried to understand why the accident was happening in the same area. And when it came to find out that the signage was bad, most accident wasn't because they were driving, because they were drunk. It wasn't because, you know, they were young or anything or on the phone. I would have thought they were on the phone. No, it was because the signage of Savannah, it's also like the signage in New York. Yet in Savannah, we have those trees, those beautiful trees that come and sometimes they hide the sign. So it really tells you how to design a place based on its location. It has nothing to do with New York. It's really actually it's make you design with the ADN, I would say ADN, what we in French is ADN. I just kind of cannot find the word in English, but it allows you to design based on the location, based on the population, based on the issue, and target the issue and not a general idea. It is the lenses of society, I believe.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that answer, Christine. I really appreciate it. Jen, I feel like you have some valuable insight that you can share with everyone. So, you know, would you mind?
Yeah, so I fully agree with everyone's perspective on it. For me, GIS also became a communication tool. I became kind of the center between the executive team in my previous position as a geodesign specialist and the planners that were doing the design work. So my job was not only to analyze their ideas, but also to visualize them. So then I began to really explore, you know, the benefit of showing things in 3D. So I was able to do dynamic viewshed analysis and shadow analysis and be able to show them, okay, these heights of this building, you can see that straight across downtown, you know, then they can start deciding what the value of the real estate is across the city and understanding what the development potential is of these different demographics across Nashville. We have a really intense tourist population here. And so being able to manage that as well as track our development going forward, it became a really important tool for our planning and development scenarios to not only be able to understand those numbers but see those numbers as people, as buildings, as the environment building up around you. So not only was GIS a 2D format opportunity for us, but we were able to take 3D City Engine and ArcGIS Pro models and take them out to the community. I took my own laptop out there and was able to project it and have those conversations and get people excited, not about the technology, but about their communities and about those changes without enticing fear. They were more excited to see the visual impact of their neighborhoods.
That is so awesome. That's so awesome how you're able to do that. And like you said, not through like the technology, but the change and the understanding of their own community using those tools and tools that Esri provides. It's really great. I guess my next question is a general question for all of us. And that is, I'm so sorry, I just lost my mark. From an academic perspective, did you find it easy or hard to advocate to locate schools or programs that offer GIS programs?
I can add to this as well. For me, again, it was like everyone mentioned earlier on, it was about finding the subject you were passionate about and then allowing GIS to support that subject. So being in a design format, you know, being in an environmentally conscious format, how do I use GIS as a tool to propel that forward, to have a defensible basis for how I'm doing my work. And so GIS kind of crept up on me. I was avoiding it for a long time because, you know, I was like, I'm into design. This is too technical for me. But finding that value in Philadelphia University, which is now a part of Jefferson University, they developed a curriculum for geodesign for geospatial technology. And so you know, you're doing design work, but you're basing everything off of GIS. And then from there, I've since become a professor at the university and seeing these other academic programs pop up. Some are in particular are focused in GIS. I know Penn State has a lot of GIS programs around that in particular, but a lot of them are now attached to a focus, agriculture, environmental, or design focus. And so I think if you can find the gem within the particular focus you're in, GIS can carry it pretty far. I didn't find too many problems on my end because I initially wasn't searching just for a GIS program.
So I could add to that as well. So I tell people I got into GIS purely by accident. My background is as a geologist. And I literally, just like Jen said, I resisted GIS because I hated it. And maybe because of how it was being taught. And then a professor of mine told me that I could not be a geologist without some kind of computerized mapping, a geologist without some kind of computerized mapping. So I decided, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And so I did. And, you know, I was all set to be a hydrogeologist. And then that summer came and I did an internship that was heavily based GIS. And I ended up doing a master's degree in GIS and environment. So it was along the lines of the things that I already loved. And so from that perspective, but back then, 20 plus years ago, there was not a lot of undergraduate GIS programs. I know there's quite a bit more now, but you definitely could find more graduate work. So after you've done your first degree, then you could go towards doing something that was definitely focused on GIS.
And I can add to this, sorry. This is Nanmi, and I can add a little bit to this. For me, it was a little different from everybody because I was deliberate. I wanted to do GIS. I did my undergrad in geography and I had to take some GIS classes. And with that, I developed the interest to do even more. And with that, I was able to go into my master's program, which had a lot to do with GIS. So I got the technology, and then with that, I was able to apply this technology, the knowledge that I, received from school, to all the industries that I was able to work with. So I basically in utility, oil and gas, and also in government. So you know, we all have different routes, and I totally agree. It's good to have a focus. I mean, some people basically have a focus. Maybe it could be geology, engineering, whatever it is. But you know, some people like myself started with the technology and then diverted into applying to all the other areas. So that's my.
Great, great. So it looks like we
Yeah,
have a question. I'm so sorry, Jemai.
I was going to say I was pretty similar into what Nami said. My undergraduate degree was in geography, and GIS was a key part of that in early stages, and have continued to evolve within that. So I think, I mean, a lot of people come into it from different angles, but I would say there is a pathway to start with GIS and geography being a primary area of expertise as well.
So I think this next question would be great to be answered from like Gregory or Danielle or also Jemai as well, since we haven't heard too much from you guys. And just tell me what you guys think about this. Okay, so like, what role and value do you believe diversity plays in the workplace in setting up business?
Okay, well, Danielle, if you can go first in terms of I mean, you are newer in the GIS world, and how do you see diversity in the sense of your area? And then I'll go after you.
I see it in the sense of diversity is that there are more African Americans. We're getting into GIS, we're coding. So these things mean a lot that we can represent our communities to be working in places of employment and technology. We're definitely rising with that and seeing more faces. And it definitely means a lot.
Awesome.
So, okay, so I'll add to this. I believe diversity is valuable for any organization because it gives you a different perspective, especially if your employer reflects the population that they're serving. So it's really a matter of understanding different culture, how people see the world, because we all don't see it the same way. It's allowed leadership to understand to strengthen their team and really have the right people on their team to actually help them execute their plan or expand their company. So diversity is a good thing. It's really allowing people to be themselves and use their strength in helping communities, helping business to business, business and government, and really it's more a mindset and understanding of people and having whether it's men, women, different genders and different group because the world is big but it's pretty small, and especially when you're looking at and planning and understand population and how population interact. Here in Palm Beach, we have, when we did our last LRTP, we realized there's a lot of immigrants coming in here, and allowing these people planning the road system is really understanding them. And depends on where you're from or your background, and having the right people on the team really help you serve communities better.
If I could also add to that, it would also help to address disparities in communities. And so having a diverse team that understands not only the struggles of these different communities, but also being able to look at it on a map, understand the levels of stress in communities. And then when you're talking about investment, understanding where that investment needs to be dispersed to address disparities in communities. So I think that's a big deal.
I have a few questions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If I want to talk diversity, I think that, the way I look at diversity is really, I look at GIS as the most diverse, piece of, application, because in fact, it celebrates diversity. It actually allows you to see things, in their original state and understand how different they are, because it's really all about looking at how one is different and how one acts with the other. And I think that it goes against this notion of, a society where we actually try to follow one rule or doing the same thing, doing all the same thing. GIS actually allow that diversity, and I think that diversity should be cultivated, and we're talking about how does it work in the workplace. I think that what I'm looking at is really how do we actually bring it back into the very early age, in the lower education. And that's why I'm creating this geo-edu gaming, because it's bringing it at the 4th grade. Right now I'm involved with Drone Forward. It's a program that is using drone and coding for kids so that we could prove that those kids actually at that age could start thinking like us. We don't need to actually be at a certain age to start thinking. And I think that if you bring that at the very lower end, we will actually have a lot better diversity in anything. I wish I knew GIS when I was 10-years old. I'm sure my career path would have been different, Some of you have been in GIS for very long. I end up in it just like randomly because I was fighting something. So I think that diversity is crucial, but diversity needs to actually be brought back right at the bottom. And so that, those kids could actually grow seeing diversity as a strength, rather than, something that is old. And I think that that's where we need to, actually make it stronger.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you brought up diversity and age as well. It's race, it's cultural background, but also age. It's really, I think it's really cool.
I think I'll go add on a real world event. I used to work for a youth department where they used to actually allocate fundings to the community, and they were trying to understand how to properly allocate those funding. And after we actually mapped and dive into where the funding were going, we kind of realized that the people that was serving those vulnerable youth were not in the community. So it actually sort of reanalyzing your RFP to say, if you want to serve this community, you are actually not in the community. So actually identifying where those vendors are was actually making it part of the RFP to know, hey, after looking at those GIS analysis, there is no correlation between the population you're serving. So it's really reallocating the resources to actually help understanding how to help those youth we are taxpayers was spending. So that was a real life event where I was really proud of being part of that work, and it's still going on even though I left that department. But I was really proud to see how they're actually trying to cover mental health, all kind of issues with the young people. So it was really good. That was a real life event that I experienced on one last GIS project and I worked on.
Awesome, great. So it looks like our video is up and running, and let's keep our fingers crossed because I know it's going to work this time. 3rd time's a charm, okay? So without any further ado.
Hi everyone, my name is Taiwo Ogumi and I'm from Nigeria. I had a bachelor degree in geography from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Currently, I occupy the role of a GIS and information management consultant working with the United Nations International Organization for Migration. My major role is to support UN IOM humanitarian program activities in northern Nigeria through the development of geospatial map, building and maintaining a geospatial database infrastructure for all their program activities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Scott, and I'm an account manager at Esri in Global Business Development, specializing in local government, located in Southern California. And GIS can look like you, looks like me. So my role in and around GIS as an account manager is working in a team of 2 with a solution engineer. We collaborate with existing customers, we identify new and innovative ways of using our technology. We also help new users discover the value GIS can bring to their organization. What led me to my role is that I've used Esri's products in my former life in the military. And so I think it was a natural progression to work for Esri in my second career. My primary responsibilities. So we work closely not only with a solution engineer, but with other teams within Esri to help our customers take advantage of geo-analysis, finding unique patterns and trends, and understanding hidden and complex business problems. The requirements for the role is pretty much three years or more of enterprise sales experience, providing platform solutions. Also being able to manage a sales cycle, understanding account planning and opportunity strategy, knowing the ins and outs of state and local government, and being open to new technology trends, being able to translate those into solutions for our customers. We do travel a little bit, normally outside of COVID-19 physical distancing. That's the aspect I really love about it, because you're not doing monotonous details, you're not in just an office environment, you do get to travel and meet with our customers, and it's very rewarding for me. So that's it in a nutshell. GIS can look like you too, so join us.
Hey guys, Josiah Burkett here, representing Geotech Vision Limited Jamaica. I am actually a geologist. I have a background in environmental science, but I was introduced to GIS in university, and later in my career I continued to pursue this, and here I am today at my organization. I look at a lot of data analytics, data collection, and utilizing robotics for sustainable solutions. So just want to say GIS can look like you, and no matter your background, you can always get involved.
I am Dr. Rekia Babumaji. I would like to use this opportunity to say thank you to Esri for providing this platform for us to showcase our background in GIS and remote sensing. I work with the Nigerian Space Agency, Department of Strategic Space Application, as well in Division of Natural Resources Management. And my work is to use space technology for the monitoring and dictating natural resources management divulgation or anything that impacts those natural resources management, natural resources. So I'm happy to showcase my my area of application. You can see this is GIS lab, and in this GIS lab we do printing, we do produce maps, and the example of those maps are this one that we have here. These are example of some of the data that we got from Nigerian Sat 1, Nigerian Sat 2, and then some of the work we do cut across every aspect of sustainable development. We have education sector, security sector, and we have topographic as well as domestic applications, which involve the use of Nigerian Sat 1 or X or 2 in within Nigeria. So for us, part of the work we do is also disaster risk reduction. So it will be good for you to know that NASDA is the center for UN Spider. We have 2 UN Spider centers in Africa. One is in Nigeria, which is in NASDA. This helps in activate the charter for data distribution to stakeholder or end user. So here, this is one of the work that we did. It's about the chart. It's using satellite remote sensing GIS to monitor the change in the lake extent as well as the vegetation resources in those areas. We also do something about climate change, which is involve mapping of the flood extent of local area, as well as deforestation in the Cross River. We do desertification in Kano. Much of our activities are within the country, but we also give image to people outside Nigeria, especially since we're a member of UNOSA, UN Spider. So every time another country is in need of data, if satellite Nigerian Sat 1, 2, or X is in in that area, we activate the charter and we give out. So like I say, my background is in geosciences and civil engineering. I am an expert in remote sensing and GIS application. I am also a member of African Science and Technology Advisory Group on Disaster Risk Reduction. At the same time, I'm recently invited to join United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Global Risk Assessment Framework Steering Group. Thank you. I hope somebody will see a young girl or women that are interested in GIS and remote sensing will see this my video and develop interest in GIS and remote sensing. Thank you, Esri, and bye.
Hi, my name is Priscilla Mbama Abasi and I work as a GIS technician with Zipline. Zipline is a medical drone delivery company that delivers blood and medical products to health facilities in different countries around the world. Currently, Zipline has made over 45,000 life-saving deliveries by drone to health facilities that would have been otherwise very difficult to reach by road. Zipline has also been very instrumental in the fight against COVID-19 as we continue to fly PPEs to health facilities in the US and also COVID-19 samples to COVID-19 labs in Ghana. As a GIS technician with Zipline, my day-to-day activities include planning the delivery maneuvers of our drones at all our delivery sites, connecting them to a transit route from our distribution center to the delivery site, and also making sure that our flight path is safe and free from all obstacles. I also make maps to help us better visualize our data and to identify trends, identify problems, and make up solutions so that we can better serve our customers. We achieve all of this through the combined use of different GIS softwares, such as Esri's products and other softwares, but also we have in-house Zipline GIS platforms that we use to complete our tasks. As a child, I wanted to study science, and I thought studying science meant being either a doctor or a nurse. I didn't know anything about GIS. I hadn't heard about it before. So when I got the opportunity to study geomatic engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, that is when I heard about GIS for the very first time. After studying, I graduated in 2014. I went on to pursue a Master of Science in Geospatial and Mapping Science at the University of Glasgow, and I graduated in 2016. It was during my studies that I realized the enormous benefit. African Women in GIS is a community of African women who may just be GIS enthusiasts or students or women who work in the geospatial industry. We love to build each other up and push each other to our greatest potential. I also volunteer with Hot OSM and currently with Here on the Map Creator project, which is yet to start. My path to GIS has been very interesting, and each and every day I learn a new thing. I challenge myself to do better than I did yesterday. I take online courses, and Esri's MOOCs are my favorite. The current cartography one has helped me improve the way I present data. GIS as a tool, a system, a science, or a technology, however you may call it, can be applied to a lot of fields. It can be applied in the field of health, in business, in finance, in logistics and supply chain, and environment, a lot of areas. And it provides a very easy means of identifying problems and solving it, and that is what I love most about it. Now, after working in the GIS industry for about 4 years now, I love to share my passion and a little knowledge I've acquired with women and ladies who may be starting out their career in GIS. And so I volunteer with African Women in GIS, which is my advice to anyone starting out a career in GIS, especially young women, is to not be afraid to travel a path that is less traveled by women. The GIS industry is male-dominated, and it's about time we populate this industry with a lot of women. So invest the time to learn. Take advantage of online courses and other resources online. Take advantage of especially Esri's MOOCs, from cartography to location advantage to geo apps to spatial analysis. Just learn, be willing to learn. Every person you meet can teach you something as long as you're willing to learn.
Hi guys, Sherry here from Geotech Vision Jamaica. I just wanted to share my background with you. I have a background in GIS, geomatics, and environmental planning. I'm currently a geoinformatics specialist at Geotech Vision. So I just wanted to encourage you that no matter your skin color, which country you're from, or even your gender, the sky's the limit. GIS looks like me, so it can look like you. Bye.
Hello. Did you know that GIS could look like you? Well, let me introduce myself. I am Dorothea Cooper, a project manager at Here Technologies, a mother of 4, and a South Side of Chicago native. I have a bachelor's degree in networking and communications management, and also a master's degree in business with concentration of general management and organizational behavior and change. So I was studying organizational behavior and change before it was actually cool. Yeah. And also I have certifications in Lean Six Sigma, project management, and agile leadership. My professional GIS journey began like 16 years ago in release management, when CDs and DVDs were the main methods of distribution for data to our customers. From then on, the business has, of course, evolved from physical media to electronic downloads, now cloud services, and APIs and apps. The journey has been an exciting one. As the business have evolved and changed, so have I. My natural problem-solving skills and ability to communicate with developers, executives, peers, provides a great opportunity to lead the organization through change while managing risk. As a project manager, I focus on improvement initiatives using methodologies such as DMAIC, that's where you define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. I also focus on data visualization, which is used for analytics, decision-making, and reporting. When I think about what makes a great career, I think about talent mobility and the opportunities you have to grow and develop yourself. I also think about culture. Ensuring that voices are heard and respected within an organization is highly important. That's what my GIS career looks like, and that's what yours could look like as well. Take care.
Hello, everybody. My name is Yolanda Richards, and I serve as an account manager focused on local government, specifically with the City of Chicago at Esri. And so my role really supports the City of Chicago in ensuring that they are able to not only access our technology, but making sure that they are getting the tools to really solve critical issues focused on local government. And so the reason why I got involved with Esri is because I'm an urban planner by training. I got my urban planning degree both in undergrad and graduate school, and I really cared about city development and making sure that there were resources available for marginalized communities, underserved communities, and making sure that planners were able to have tools and resources to really solve critical issues for cities. And I think Esri's technology has been really profound, not only in local government, but in other sectors to really solve critical issues. And so I think it's really, really important to have more people, specifically our Black community, involved in the geospatial front, because we need to hear different perspectives. Location matters, and it's really important that we get perspectives that can really solve a lot of critical issues, whether it's addressing issues of poverty, whether it's addressing environmental racism, whether it's addressing so many different factors that affect us as people, but specifically our communities as a whole. And so I'm really fortunate to be in this role because my perspective is able to really address these issues, but then also being able to have a diversity of thought, diversity of leadership, diversity of perspectives. And so I really want to encourage people who are interested in learning more about GIS to consider folks who have been in the field, but then also learning the technology as a whole. You know, I think GIS opens the door to so many avenues of technology, not just from the GIS perspective, but learning how to code and learning how to look at front end and back end development, looking at Java, looking at so many other types of coding skills. It's all very much connected, and I think what's so powerful about GIS is that it's all about location, and it's just a really important factor as we think about challenges that are happening in our community communities. If you are aware with the pandemic, location matters. And so being able to use technology like GIS is really important. So you're able to not only inform people, but just also being able to use location as a reference point and really addressing critical issues. And so it's my hope that you are interested in learning more about GIS, that you can get more involved in not only learning the tools and resources, but knowing that there are career avenues that are available for you to be able to be successful, but then also make impact and make a difference in the world. So please, 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 please consider a career in GIS, and it would be very life-changing, life-rewarding, and just a great opportunity for you to make a difference and an impact. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys so much for attending our webinar. I want to thank our panelists that shared so much key insight. I'm my co-moderator, Jennifer Blanks. And I just wanted to close out with a last poll. If you guys wouldn't mind answering this for me, I'm going to be highly appreciated. Thank you guys so much again, and thank you so much to our sponsors who allowed us to host this event as well. And please be sure to connect with the link that was just added to the chat as well, to connect and network with everyone that was in the panelist group and the attendees as well. Thank you guys once again so much for attending. I really appreciate it. And thank you again to all of our moderators and panelists as well.
And hey, if you're feeling inclined to do so, drop your LinkedIn URL in the chat so that we can connect and keep the conversations going.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
We'll keep the Zoom open for about 5 minutes more so that you can have a chance to grab your URL and drop it in the chat. And may you all enjoy your Esri UC experience. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for attending.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you all. We're gonna, I guess, go over to the plenary watch party if you're gonna join that.
Keep the party going.
Yeah.